Where you born?
I was born in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, Kensington? Born and raised?
I was born and raised in Philadelphia, Northeast Philadelphia.
Can you tell me your current living situation and
I'm homeless.
you're doing day to day to survive in Kensington, Philadelphia?
I'm homeless. I had an apartment, and me and my boyfriend had an apartment, and it burnt down. But we were on Suboxone, which was helping us stay off drugs, especially like opiates because of heroin, and we never tried this fentanyl before. So in about 2021, we tried it, and what we were taking, the Suboxone is supposed to block opiates, but this is a whole different drug. They don't have any idea how to treat it. They don't have a drug yet that blocks it or helps us withdraw from it or come off of it safely. So basically everybody is just out there suffering. It's so bad that you get sick in an hour. You have to use every hour in order to stay well. So it's impossible to have a job or take care of your kids because it takes over your life completely.
So who introduced you to the drugs?
Philadelphia, Kensington Avenue. That's where we go. Since I can remember, we call it down the way. We would go if we wanted to get pot, like weed, marijuana. We would come down, but it used to be different. It used to be the cops would pull you over and say, "Get out of the neighborhood," because they didn't want you in the neighborhood. The cops used to actually care, and it used to be us, hiding from the cops and trying to buy drugs. So it wasn't as dangerous. I don't feel like. But then they started adding fentanyl, which all of a sudden everybody started dying. And it had all these abandonmeniums, and people were literally dying, like 5 people to each abandonmenium. Some were in there dead for a week, some would be in there dead for 3 days, and nobody would know.
You never have overdose?
I have overdosed. I've overdosed on heroin, I've overdosed on whatever this is, but it's no longer fentanyl. The crazy part is that they say that there's fentanyl in our system, but it's not fentanyl anymore. It's a whole different drug. We can tell because you immediately pass out, and it's not like the same high. And it gives you amnesia. Like everybody gets robbed literally. If you shoot it intravenously, which I do not, because I don't like the high. I don't like to be passing out. People rob you. They can go in your pockets, in your bra, they can go anywhere, and you won't even feel it. People wake up completely with no shoes on, no shirt on. They take everything.
Do you ever think about how you can get off drugs and stay off drugs?
All day, every day, because this is I did try to get off. I went to rehab from December to January, Kensington Detox, and they put me on methadone there to get me off of it. But that I still felt sick because there's this other drug they added now. It's called xylazine, which is an animal tranquilizer. And it's not meant for humans. It's not meant for intravenous use. And the worst part is that it's supposed to go into the muscle of an animal. But it's 100,000 times stronger than fentanyl. And it's cheap and it's not controlled. So they're getting it in mass amounts, and it is everywhere. And I've never seen Philadelphia like this before. The cops, it seems like they told the cops never to interfere. The cops literally don't care. They look like they're parked on the corner with the lights on, but it's just for show. But we're all dying out here, and they don't care. Like, you could scream for help while somebody's getting beat up by a bunch of drug dealers, and I've seen them drive around them. There's shootings, they don't come. They don't come if there's a shooting. They come after the shooting's done when everybody's dead. They don't come in and help. I feel like it's like an experiment or something, or that the world's forgotten about us. And we're literally, there's 20-year-old girls there with no teeth. Wow. They look like they're 80 years old, and their arms have holes called abscesses, because they say that it's the xylazine trying to get out of their body, and it eats its way out of your flesh, and then it kills the flesh around it, and it becomes necrotic, and then it becomes infected with MRSA because everybody's on the street. So we're also homeless now. They don't have any resources for us. They feed us. They give us needles. They give us pipes. They give
Needle for free?
Oh, what do you mean? They come and give us food. They feed us. They make sure we're good and fed. They make sure we're alive down here and able to use drugs. It is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And we don't get in trouble. The cops, we can stand right next to a cop and smoke crack. Whatever we want to do.
You never get caught.
They don't care. The cop, you can stand in front of a cop and they're told not to interfere. Now, that's why they give us the Narcan. No ambulance comes out to help. You know, they come after. We have to give our other fellow drug addicts. They taught us how to do it because nobody will come and help. It's like the ambulance won't come, so we have to give our friends Narcan and stuff like that. And there's Narcan literally in fences everywhere. So it's only up to us. They've forgotten about us. They've forgotten about Kensington, and it's all the people are being lied to, thinking like, oh, it can be controlled. Like we have a choice. This is taking our choice from us because this is a drug that nobody has any awareness of what it's going to do to you in the long run. There's 20-year-old girls and guys with no legs.
Oh,
and if they don't take care of it because they don't want to go to the hospital. Why? Because they get sick. And the hospital doesn't want to give them any medication to help them feel better, except Temple. Temple gives them medication to keep them
What about
up.
methadone clinics? They don't have methadone in Kensington?
Methadone is just going to be another addiction. I tried it. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't block the xylazine. You can take 100 milligrams of methadone every single day and sit there and get a bag or 8 bags every day of this, whatever drug this is, and be high all day long. So you'll have 2 addictions.
Did you graduate high school?
I graduated high school.
Where, in Kensington too?
No, I went to George Washington.
Which grade did you get it?
I was in my advanced classes. I was a great student, and I was in '98, class of '98.
Oh, that's nice.
And then I went to college, and then that drug OxyContin came out. This is before it was really controlled, and that's what started all of us. If you had a headache, they give you OxyContin. If your knee hurt, they give you OxyContin. It's extremely strong. And then once they started to control it, and it became very expensive, and we started coming down here to get heroin because it was cheap. And we were sick. It makes you sick if your body doesn't have it. To the point where you will do anything for it. But now it's even worse. People are literally robbing each other, and it's so cheap. It's $3 a bag, and somehow we still can't afford it.
Oh, damn.
It's insane. People go steal from stores all day, every day. People go have sex with people, all for nothing, for $5.
Let's talk about dates.
That's what they do. They go on dates, and there's guys out there now. Since the girls shoot up, they pass out, so they get raped a lot. There's been so much rape going on, especially in McPherson Park, and the cops don't even care. There's a cop car parked in McPherson Park while girls get raped, and they don't ever do anything. That's what bothers me the most. Is it's like nobody helps us, but they help us use. Give us the needles to sell.
To sell too?
Yeah, they provide us. They have a needle exchange. It used to have a needle exchange, but it would come once a week. This is every single day at Prevention Point. So I feel like it was a setup. They provide us to kill ourselves. It's like they want us to die. It's like an experiment. I'm not kidding. It is scary.
What about the mayor or senators? They don't do nothing?
You really believe the government cares about us? Do you think the government is real? The government is designed. They're just professional liars. And they're all... If you believe that the government wants to help us, you definitely are drinking the Kool-Aid, you feel me?
I know. You say you have a kids. How often you go to see your kids?
I never see my kids. I haven't seen my kids in 6 years.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So you don't mind to explain like what's going on, like why you don't go to see your kids?
I can't see my kids because I haven't touched my kids in 6 years. Okay. Since 2017, I haven't been able to put my hands on my children.
I'm sorry to hear
that. To deal with that, I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know. I can't win. You know, my ex-husband, his family, they have a lot of money. My parents are immigrants.
Oh, you was married before?
I was married.
So what happened? Where is he?
He went to, he's in Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta when I was...
And he still used drugs too?
Well, the thing is, in 2008, it was heroin. It was actually heroin. And I was addicted to heroin, and I was in a toxic relationship with a drug, and he was a drug dealer, and he started using drugs and got violent, and nobody would ever help me, you know, because in the neighborhood, well, that's what you get, you know, you're a drug addict, you deserve it. The way they treat drug addicts is absolutely unbelievable, that how ignorant people are to what is really going on. They don't care. They literally treat us like shit on the ground. People have committed, you know how many people have committed suicide? Because people don't understand that we're suffering, we're from trauma in our lives, and we don't know how to handle it. The system is designed for you to keep coming back to rehab, and the rehab is designed to keep you going out there again so you can come back and spend more money. If people don't get this is just an organized racket by now, I mean, come on. Since they started medicine with the Rockefellers, they made up this stuff. Just like slavery, a modernized slavery, right? Oh, let's pretend, let's fool them because they're stupid. They believe we're stupid because we'll believe anything CNN says, you know? But CNN is what? They're controlled.
They're controlled, yeah.
It's all propaganda. What, Black Lives Matter? Doesn't anybody realize once they said that, how bizarre that is? It almost sounds like they wanted us to war against each other. That's what it was going to cause, you know? You know it.
Yeah. I don't want to cut you off, but what would you say to the young people who are curious? Yeah, like, I mean, curiosity to try.
This isn't something to try.
Drugs.
This is not a drug to try. This is a social experiment. They want to see. This is about the government, the 1% or what. Listen, you might think I'm crazy, but I promise you, this is the time. This is called the Age of Aquarius. It is going to unveil. They're trying to kill us. They're leaving us to die out here. They won't give us housing. They give us phones, but we can't charge them because they turn off all the power.
Which phone, like your Obama phone?
Obama phone. And guess how much the battery lasts? An hour. How am I supposed to get a job? How come you won't give me housing?
You never have a job before?
I have a phone, but guess what? I can't charge it.
No, you never have a job before?
I've worked all my life. I even worked when I was doing heroin. But this is not something you can work with because you have to get high every 8 hours. People had to move from Lancaster to Philadelphia, sold their homes to move here to live on the street. You believe that? Because they got to be close.
Why Kensington? Why Philadelphia?
This is the only place that it's like this. This is the only place on this entire planet that the open market like this, where you can pick up a hooker on any day, on any time of the day, get away with rape, murder, anything. I mean, we hear gunshots and nobody moves. It's like normal to us. Every day we hear gunshots like fireworks. And this is like 4 blocks. And it doesn't seem like it, right? No, and they're re-gentrifying. Do you see how pretty it is? Isn't it beautiful out here? In the heroin days, it was horrible out here. It was ugly. Fields and broken down homes. But now they re-gentrified it. Now we have all these rich people living in Kensington with little kids in strollers taking them to the park. And there's people walking around with needles in their neck. It makes no sense. It's like they can't see us and they don't care. And outside, someone's getting a blowjob, and over here, somebody's shooting in their neck, and over here, someone's dying, you know, and nobody cares.
So, let me ask you two more questions. What do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years?
Yes.
Right now, I feel so hopeless that I always feel like I just want to end everything because it's just so hard. This is the hardest job I've ever had, is to keep up with this stupid addiction. It's not even fun, but I'm just so... there's something it does to your brain. I have no idea why. But look, we're walking around with... There's people walking around with open sores, and there's maggots coming out of them, and flies, and they smell bad, and they still don't want to put the needle down to go to the hospital. Because nobody will help us.
I'm very sorry to hear that. If you have 3 wishes to say, what's your wish?
I wish that we could find a solution to this sickness called drug addiction. I wish that people would, the world would try to get educated, because AA, that's like archaic. Those early 1900s, this book was written, you know, and it doesn't work. It's not a choice. Once you take a drug, your choice has been taken from you. You are no longer that person. You are a slave to that drug. And it is, and the things that you said you'll never do, you do. Well, women, we seem to be the biggest target, because if you're a white woman, or if you're a woman at all, period, forget white, forget color at all, that has nothing to do with it. It's the fact that you're a woman. Women, it's easier for women to make money, and even the guys believe that, and it is true. It's easier because it's constantly people driving around beeping at you, asking you, hey, $20 for a blowjob, this and that. And listen, when you're sick and you have no money, there's a lot of this.
What is blowjob? Because some people, they don't know, like, what is
oral
blowjob?
Sex.
Ah, okay.
I've heard people ask for anal sex and without a condom for $5. And there's girls that do it. That's how desperate they are. I mean, I'm talking about that's, how unsafe that is if an actual person who does it probably all the time comes down here and does it without protection. There's syphilis out here. Syphilis is running rampant out here. Also, scabies, body lice in the hair. They're super bugs now. There's bugs.
Super bugs?
Super bugs.
I never heard that.
They have, a guy actually just told me today, I mean, not to be off subject, it was scary, and I can show it to you. There is work, we call them works, the needles. He was showing me that look at the worm inside my blood. I said, what do you mean? That came out of your vein? He said, yeah.
Worm inside the blood?
A worm. I'm not even sitting there, the needle. What is that? A worm in your blood, and they look like pieces of, like they splinter. And another girl was telling me they're behind her nails. I'm thinking she's high. So today, this guy told me that. I've heard this before, that there's bugs in the people's blood because it's a pesticide or something. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I don't know what's in this stuff.
You don't think to go to the hospital maybe to get medication?
They're afraid.
Oh, sure.
They're afraid they're going to be judged. They're afraid they're going to be shunned away and told and left to die. They're afraid they won't help them. And you know what? They're scared. They're scared to be, you know what the worst fear is here? And the number one fear is to be sick from the drug. If you go a couple hours without it, you get stomach cramping. It comes on full force. And they have nothing to treat it.
You never get robbed or raped?
I just got robbed yesterday. I've been raped, but I wasn't raped doing the walking the avenue. Like they call it walking the bike lane, because there's a bike lane. So if you're walking on a bike lane, then it shows that you're available to be bought, for a date. But if you're on the sidewalk, they still don't care. They still ask. I don't know how many times they've asked me. I literally have to tell them, like yell at them to leave me alone. It's almost like they have they think they're entitled because we're like drug addicts. So of course, we'll do anything for it, right? And there are girls that do, but there's girls that don't do it. There's girls that do other things like Boost. They steal from stores and then come back and sell a candy, whatever. There's people who actually just have money and their parents are rich and they send them $100 a day. Or, you can sell anything in Kensington. You could sell a freaking cavity. You could sell a fingernail. Some weird stuff, but all day long, they give us needles to sell to each other. A friend of ours just died the other day. A guy just died because, it makes you, what they call it, a nod. And people, you ever see people on the street and they're looking like they're doing this weird dance, like almost like a zombie look. And they're just kind of knees buckling and they're hanging, like where their arms are hanging and they're not hitting the floor. Well, one guy did it stepped up on the platform and he got up too close to the line and he fell. You know how many people fall into the tracks every single day? And
how many?
At least 2-3 a day fall in and survive. But every now and then, the timing comes or someone who's falling in and the trains are hauling ass coming into the station, and bam, they're dead. My mom kicked me out of my house, of the house. I was sober, I was clean, I had a whole soccer mom, ran a business with my ex-husband, electrical company. We had a home, we had 3 kids, and when he relapsed on his drug of choice in 2017, and after that, it was never the same. When the kids got taken a year later by his parents, and then, they were very little. But since then, I spiraled because I miss my children. And
I know you do.
It's crazy that I went to rehab and I asked for help for housing because how can I? Listen, my mom says, get sober. But I live on this street. If I was sober, I would lose my mind. I do drugs to keep warm, to be honest.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? It's like I
To
can't
get
sleep.
warm? Does it make you warm? Or does it make you numb?
It makes me numb, and it keeps you warm. To be honest, I don't know what it is, but it definitely numbs you. It's a tranquilizer, and you have to understand. Like my boyfriend, I smoke it. He smokes it. He used to smoke it. He has asthma. It would trigger his asthma so badly. He'd be at death's door. If he waits one day, literally, he's ready to be intubated. Like that's how bad it is in your lungs. And once you ingest it, it has to find a way out. Everybody has these open, pussy sores that won't heal. It stops your skin from healing. All my cuts don't heal. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It's bizarre. It's scary. And then it turns black because this tissue starts to die. And you get a hole in your body. And they don't go. They don't even care. There's flies and maggots, and they still don't go to the hospital. Because that's how hardcore the drug is.
That's great.
But and then since you know how many rapes have been happening, and guess what? Nobody cares that they think we deserve it. Or oh, you know what? Nobody's gonna listen. There are people going around. They punch women in the face. Men.
Really?
The drug
Police?
Not police.
Okay.
But the police don't do
okay.
anything about it. I'm talking about the drug dealers. The drug dealers hire the drug addicts to sell the drugs.
Oh, sure.
And they exploit them, you know, and they make them go down for it when they get caught. They don't. 9/10 of the law is possession, you know. So why not? I mean, they make $10 a bundle. That's nothing. And for what? $10? You're gonna risk your freedom, but you have no choice because you're a slave to the drug, and it's so cheap that everybody can have it and live on the street like this. You know, they come bring us clothes, churches. They bring us everything we need to live and survive. Instead of bringing resources, you know what I mean?
I know.
Housing. You know, it's like we get looked over. There's even groups of children, I'm talking about under 17, that play these games called Catch a Body.
Oh.
And they randomly, they pick on homeless people, which homeless people are mostly drug addicts. And one girl died. They punched her in the face while she was sleeping, and she died. It's a game to these young kids.
Oh, okay.
What they're doing is spreading hatred propaganda, like against homeless people. And homelessness and drug addiction go hand in hand. I don't know why they handle it separately. It's literally hand in hand. I lived in Southampton. I had to be closer to here. That's why I can't leave Kensington. It's like you can check in, but you can't check out. I mean, it's amazing how awful people treat us, and nobody cares. Even our own families, they just gave up. And there's so many kids that just overdose because they're dying of depression. They're so lonely because it messes with their brain. I don't know what it is, but they put some. I found out there was sleep aid and on my drug test. Sleep aid, but I don't take cocaine. They're putting it in marijuana, fentanyl. They're putting it in the crack. So you get addicted physically, and you want to keep coming back. Okay. They're putting in everything.
How many times how many times you have been to jail?
Me, I've been to jail so many times for stealing things. I would steal it, like detergents, because that's what these stores buy. That's on the L. You know, it's cheap. Tide and all that. It's really expensive. So people we're poor. This is a poor city. People want a discount, or we'll sell them to the poppy stores, and they'll resell it for more. So that's a big way to make money. They call it boosting. So the stores everywhere. We can put the Walgreens out of business on Allegheny because that's how much we sold from them.
So what's the difference between Allegheny and like Kensington?
Somerset. Okay, there's Allegheny. These are just train stops. Okay. Allegheny and Kensington is now the tourist spot. That's what everybody knows is the hub. Or it used to be Somerset. That's the place where you go when you're new to it. You hear down the way, Somerset and Kensington. That used to be when heroin was out. Now it's Allegheny and Kensington. And people live right there by the station, along the wall, by the train station. Outside, all day, every day. And they pitch tents wherever they can.
I just see them.
Yep, and every day Clip comes by and throws everything out. And they make fires, they burn everything. They burn anything and everything just to keep warm. It's amazing. Talking about humility, I'll tell you right now, I appreciate every little thing that I can get. a hot meal. Oh my God, I value it. I value my relationships. The worst part is how depressed people get. And the worst other part is that they give us samples. It's free dope, right? They call us samples. And they'll call us maybe 7 to 10 times a day.
Oh, damn.
You don't even need money. But you know what that sample does? Whoever likes it, buys it and, opens up the block. But there's a block every freaking 5 feet. There is no safe zone.
I was in Boston. I interviewed like one lady. She says there is another drug from Russia. They call it, I don't know, meth.
Like, I'm sick right now. And I just did it an hour ago. Like, I feel like I want to throw up. You believe? In an hour. That's why I can't leave here. It's like, and nobody, I go for help and nobody knows what to do. But I found out that they're making a controlled substance and they're going to use ketamine to detox us.
Okay.
But ketamine's a hallucinogen. It's a commercial drug. We used to do it with ecstasy.
Where's this coming from?
Ketamine?
Yes.
It comes, from the drug dealers, the government. The government puts the drugs on the street. We sell it, we use it, and then we get arrested for it, and they prosecute us for it. It doesn't make sense. And then the one attorney general just got impeached. He's the one who said, "I will not prosecute anybody using drugs because the government put it out there, and they're going to get in trouble for using what they put on the streets. No way. I'm not I'm not going to prosecute them." So they stopped arresting us for using. They used to arrest you if you were caught with a crack rock in your hand. Sometimes it'd be cool and just break it. But now, it's like, get out the way. We can get high. Literally. Kids walking down the street, they say, kids, and everybody just kind of stops doing what they're doing. They walk by, they continue. Imagine the people who live here, what they feel like looking at this with their children. Watching somebody with a needle hanging out their neck. It's horrifying. I'm so glad my children aren't being raised in Philadelphia because they have no chance in hell. They'd end up as a statistic like us all.
So how old are you?
I'm 43.
I'm 43? You look so young.
Fortunately, because I did the drugs when they were actually real. Opium plant, It was naturally from the earth. This is a synthetic drug. And they have no clue what the consequences are going to be down the line. They have no idea. I feel like they just brought it out to see what would happen and chose Philadelphia. Because it's such a heroin epidemic. Okay. My phone number is 267-850-1057. And I do have a Cash App, but I'm going to make a new one because it's been a while since I opened it. But my phone number, once again, is 267-850-1057. Any help would be appreciated because if I could only just get a leg up and get some shelter, then I would have no problem getting back on Suboxone and getting off the drug. Because on the street, it's impossible not to use because I'll lose my mind. It's so hard on the street. It's a dangerous place, and you want to numb yourself.
Ariel, you don't mind if I use this footage in my social media platform?
Please do. I'd love to educate people on what's really going on here because people have no idea that we've been looked over, passed over, and we're left to die. And these are someone's children, someone's mother, someone's sisters. Don't think it can't touch your family because, listen, I thought I'd never be like this. But look at me.
Thank you very much, and God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you.